team, welcome to another video here at HUMN. We are going to be exploring the world of autism within sport and fitness training. We're here at CrossFit for Ashton, so if you hear any noises in the background, it's just your people training, getting nice and fit. We are here talking with AJ. He is one of the full-time coaches here, and he's also an online programmer, so you've got your own entire client base, which is really cool. And we're going to get straight into the questions. So, AJ, tell us about your history within fitness, how you got into it, what you do now. Give us a little bit of detail.
Yeah, cool. So prior to CrossFit, I guess since I was young, I was a county swimmer when I was 11.
Nice. What stroke?
Bit of freestyle.
Oh,
that's
nice.
it, yeah.
Nice.
I was in the relay team, so all we had to worry about was one length. That's it. So
Nice.
in and out, that's it. Bit of me. And then post-school, into rugby, classic British lad, basically.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got into powerlifting, did that for a good couple of years, competed around nationally, and then I found CrossFit in 2015 to 16,
Nice.
and been sticking with it ever since, yeah.
Nice, wonderful stuff. So that brings us on to talking about autism within sport. You've recently been diagnosed with autism.
That's right.
It would be great to hear your process behind finding out about your autism, what made you go to the doctors, and how they actually diagnosed you.
Yeah, cool. So I guess we'll like rewind a little bit back to like when I was kind of a teenager in school. I always felt that I was a bit different than all the other kids and whatnot. But it's quite difficult when you're a teenager, you know, hormones running wild, etc.
Yeah.
But that kind of like lasted all up into my adulthood, etc. I always felt a little bit lost and whatnot. I suffered with a lot of anxiety, depression, etc. And no matter how much therapies and etc. I got on to or did, nothing really seemed to get better. Now, one of my younger brothers, who are quite a lot younger than me, actually got diagnosed with autism, and that's what kind of sparked the interest. And kind of the origin of it all is that my dad went to a big conference thing to learn how to deal with my brother and learn about it.
Oh,
and then he found out that he's probably autistic, and then he spoke to me and told me about the whole thing, and I was like, oh, I think I'm in this category here. Yeah. So I went privately first to get my diagnosis, because unfortunately in the NHS there's huge waiting lists and whatnot, and I'm super impatient, so I got in there. And yeah, it so happened that I was autistic. I thought originally I had ADHD, but it seems I had both, so a bit of a double whammy. But it answered a lot of questions. So going through therapy, and specific therapy for that, really helped out and made me understand more about myself and kind of triggers, etc. And then since the diagnosis, like my life has been completely different,
Which is amazing.
Yes, yeah.
Sort of opens doors and maybe allows you to be slightly kinder to yourself in situations.
Yeah, exactly. And it just allows me to put like, you know, things in place that makes me more feel more comfortable and be more productive in life as well, such as my work, etc.
Nice. So obviously we're here today chatting about autism. We are a fitness and functional training channel, so talking about autism within your training as a coach, as an athlete. It'd be great to hear about how it impacts, firstly as a coach, your life, and then as an athlete yourself, the kind of inspirations you've got, if any, if it's spoken about at all.
Yeah, sure. I guess as a coach, for me, I haven't really come across many boundaries, and that would be because coaching is like, it's my thing, it's what I'm really passionate about, and people that are autistic may have, you know, special interests as such, and mine is CrossFit, right? So CrossFit and music, that's my two special interests. That's all I care about in life.
Understandable.
Yeah,
very cool.
So anything else doesn't exist to me, basically. So like this is like my world as such. So when I'm here, I'm at home, I feel comfortable, it's my safe space. So yeah, it hasn't really impacted anything like negatively on me, really, luckily, right?
Yeah.
So as an athlete, autism has affected me much more than coaching, for sure. So like, I'm really sensitive to noise, and I guess around people that I don't really know as well, be quite awkward for me. So it's managing that, and then since getting my diagnosis, it's been super manageable. So I can put myself in like the quiet corner of like the athlete area, for example. You know, headphones on, like just try and like, you know, manage it basically. But obviously when you're on the competition floor, that's not an option. You need your ears, you need to listen to your judge. And so it's being able to manage the loud noises, etc. So before competition, I am super anxious, mostly because of that, not because of the workouts. That kind of, they're okay-ish, right? Depending where you are. But yeah, the environment is challenging. But I guess over time, I've learned what I need to do to help kind of reduce the anxiety before and during as well. But yeah.
Is there anything that friends, competitors who are doing it with you would be able to do to make that kind of environment a little bit easier?
Yeah, so I've got a really good kind of like bunch of friends that understand that I compete with regularly, and so they understand that if I've got my hood up, my headphones are in, and I look really grumpy in the corner, it's not because I'm grumpy, I'm just kind of just zoning out and just managing things, that's it. So I can come across at a competition. So if you see me at a competition, by the way, I'm not like really grumpy and unapproachable. I'm just trying to like deal with stuff, manage the stuff, So, but yeah, like friends, they can just, just be there basically. And like when I'm on the competition floor, again, like I'm focused in on that.
So the other athletes around you just let you do your thing?
Yeah, basically. And I'm really open to my judges about it. I'm like, you need to be clear to me, you need to count loud. If I do something wrong, give me a really simple cue. If I'm like not locking out, to say lock out, like keep things simple for me. So, because I'm trying to like...
You've got lots of
going on, yeah, exactly. So just need to keep things simple, basically,
Nice. And when it comes to life outside of the gym, obviously, hard to believe some of us have a life outside the gym, we love it. But when you do, what kind of things does your diagnosis have an impact on? How has that changed life outside of the gym?
Sure, yeah. So first of all, autism in general is a vast spectrum. So what I deal with can be completely different to another person with autism, right? So this is just based on me. So me, I'm very, as I mentioned earlier, sensitive to audio. So the big one for me is chatter. So if I'm in like a crowded area, loads of people talking, game over. Like I can't concentrate. You try and have a conversation with me, I just can't concentrate on having a conversation with someone. And there's also being around and socializing with random people. So like small talk, I'm really bad at. So if you ask me about the weather, try again. So and I think I'm in the wrong country for this because we love talking about the weather, right? We're like the masters of small talk in the UK. But yeah, so like social-wise, with random people that I don't really know about, so I've got like my safe circle as such, and like kind of chatter around busy areas, it can be quite a negative effect for me. Also, like when I'm working, etc., my attention is like 0 to none. So I kind of like working very short bursts. I've put myself in a situation now, though, where I can work for myself and I can work at my own speed now. I'm super lucky that I can do that. I have been at a desk job, and I don't know how I haven't been fired from every single desk job that I've been in, but here we are. But I appreciate this is to any of the bosses that might be watching, right? That I was an awful person to have.
I'm sure you weren't. I'm sure you weren't.
But to say, like, a desk job is not for me, right? I work in short bursts, and so being able to work for myself is helps that as well. So massive procrastination, basically. Whereas like, a lot of people can be very kind of like sensitive to like visual, like light, etc. That doesn't really affect me as much and stuff. But yeah.
So it's really interesting being able to understand the stimuluses that do affect you, and it's fascinating to me. It's so broad as well for everybody. In terms of what is a pro, I feel like sometimes diagnoses can be really positive on people, and you can, like you have said, learn to manage things. But what have been your biggest positive takeaways from this within training and coaching and life?
Yeah, cool. Going back to what I mentioned earlier is the kind of that hyper focus on interests that are your interests, like your special interests. Like I can zero in on something. If I'm kind of looking into something, I will be in, and nothing will exist outside of that bubble, right? So I guess if it were a pro, like it would be my hyper focus on my interests. I get really into it. So yeah, like again, like fitness, etc. That's why I'm here doing this full time, because
And there's so much to learn within CrossFit as well. So
right,
it's like a never-ending learning scope of things to
and that's
figure
why
out.
I'm always going out seeking new kind of like, I've done pretty much all of the CrossFit online courses now. Yet to do my level 3, I think that's the next step now. And
fully educated.
That's it. I try to be, right, and all other various things as well. But it's because I want to. I don't feel it's because I have to. It's because I can and I want to, and it really interests me, intrigues me. So like, I will forever have this drive. It will never go away, sort of thing. And I guess for people that may not have that, it can kind of die and there'll be
motivation come and go.
Yeah, and then you go into the next thing, etc. But like, that won't be the case for me. Like, this will be my thing forever now.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And same question, but with the cons you found since being diagnosed.
Yeah, so I guess like, again, like being in social situations, that's a big one for me. Yeah, I don't deal really well with kind of meeting new people in a kind of, if I'm not planning for it. Yeah. Yeah, does that make sense?
Whereas when you're here and you know new members are coming, you're aware and you're ready.
Yeah, exactly, I'm expecting it, right? Whereas like, things that happen that are kind of quite an irrational things out of nowhere, it can like put me out of my routine. And like and again, with me being autistic, I have to have a routine. So I do the same thing every single morning.
Do you eat the same foods?
Oh, mate, yes. Overnight oats.
Every day. Squeezy peanut butter?
Yeah, I can tell you all of my macros, how much weighs every single one. Yeah. So there we are. But so I eat the same thing pretty much every single day, and it's because it's safe. I know what's going on. I know what it is, etc. So routine. If that routine breaks, then like
chaos.
I have a bit of it's chaos. Have a meltdown. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's down. It just kind of because obviously before I was autistic, or knew I was autistic. Sorry. I was always autistic.
It's all
Wicked.
Right, yeah.
But before I knew, I was like, what's going on? Why am I like this?
Why can't I function like other people function?
And you think like, what's wrong with me, sort of thing. But then learning about it, go, right, that's why it's like that. And is it that acceptance? And it's okay to have these routines and to be rigid in these routines. So like for anyone that is kind of going through the same process as me, like it's cool to eat the same thing every day.
You're allowed. You're an adult. You can do what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're good.
And when it comes to making this video and talking to us, obviously, we have loved coming and chatting to you, but what is it that you want to highlight about autism within sport? And is there a lack of knowledge, support, stuff out there for you to be able to relate to?
So like statistically, 1 in 100 people are autistic. So if you've got 200 to 300 members, you're likely to have a few members that are on the spectrum. And you may not even notice, and they might be absolutely okay and don't need to change anything as a coach. But if somebody comes up to you and says, I am autistic, there are things to consider. You got your visual audio stims and all that kind of stuff, and just make sure that your space is a safe space for them and you're accommodating to them as well. And it's also just building the awareness of it. It's still quite a taboo subject, and like what we're talking about off camera is that I think a lot of people are not talking about it because people that are autistic don't want to talk about it because they still feel that taboo, etc. And I think the more open we are about it and about what we have and accepting of it, other people will accept it and understand it as well.
And understand, I think that's the big thing as well, because wanting to make someone feel comfortable but not understanding what's going on is like part of the issue, isn't it, for people? So being able to understand where you're coming from is really important.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So if someone was to find this video who does have autism, who maybe thinks they might have autism, but really wants to get into training, wants to get into a gym environment, but might be a little bit intimidated by that, what would be your top tips?
Be open. Yeah, just email them and say, look, I'm autistic. And go and visit the box. See if it's for you as well, because every environment's different, every box is different. If the box is not accommodating for you, find a new one. Simple as that.
There are lots.
There's loads. As we know, there's a new CrossFit gym opening every 5 minutes at the moment, which is wicked, and it just means that you're going to have more choice. For those who think they're autistic, go speak to a doctor. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just talking from life experience, but go talk to a doctor. If you end up getting the diagnosis that you are, then wicked, then there's therapy out there for you, etc. You know, take it and just learn about yourself. And I think more you learn about yourself, the more accepting you'll become as well. And same as an athlete, like going back to what I was saying about how I manage it when I go and compete, etc. Learn what is the thing that makes you struggle. Is it the visual? Is it the audio? Manage it and kind of like create your safe environment.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in
Thanks
and
for having
doing
me.
a chat. This has been a really interesting conversation. If you have any questions surrounding the topics, we'll tag AJ and you can always drop a comment below. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share the video, and we will see you soon for the next HUMN installment.